I'm going to go straight over to Matt Drinkhahn. We met probably, I want to say almost a year ago. Matt's gone really, really quickly. I've been on his podcast. He's been on my podcast with Podcast Buddies. But what I love about Matt is, although he's had a massive journey to be where he is today, I have no idea if he's going to share any of that with you. But it's his inherent optimism that I absolutely love and connect with. It's this space of, yes, life can be horrible at times, but it's going to get better. And then when you're in that better space, it's like, well, how can I make it better for other people? So I've always been able to talk to Matt and see his heart shining through, because he truly wants to help people. So I'm going to get out of his way now. I'm going to stop my share. Over to you, Matt. It's all yours.
Thank you. And do a couple Zoom magical things here. Feel free to spotlight me. Feel free to go back to gallery if you'd like. And first, before we dive in, I'd like to honor Jill, because Jill has had a major impact on my life. In fact, I'm smiling right now just thinking of the impact she's had, because she introduced me to Andrew Miller, who I saw in there somewhere, who also had the show. I loved having him. And then when I was here the first time at Collaboration Global, I heard Ann Scotland speak. And since I started to follow Ann on Twitter, she's put so much positivity out there. So I'm just incredibly grateful to this community already. All right. So I'd like to honor Jill. So if you play along with me here, team, on the count of three, I'd like to honor Jill by giving her one clap together as a team on the count of three. That means one clap together on the count of three. 1, 2, 3, clap. All right. Thank you. All right. Good. 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 And to keep playing on this place, thank you, Jill, for doing the meditation. You just saved us about 2.5 to 3 minutes. I was going to do that. So that's awesome. So I would like to challenge the creativity in the room here. I like to invite everyone to look down across the Zoom bar, look at the reactions, and just to see the type of sense of humor or the inspiration that you might have today. I'd love to invite you, when I do a rapid countdown from 7 to 1, to pick whatever emoji might be the one that brings you a smile. And it can be a heart, or you can choose to abstain, or it can be a thumbs up, or it can be a frog, or if you're risque, it could be the poop emoji, or whatever you might want it to be. Whatever emoji brings you a smile, it just causes you to get a little bit closer to that smile. I'd like to invite you to pick that. And on the count of 7, going down fast, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, put it in there. Whichever one is the one for you. Okay, got it. Got it. Just wanted to see who's playing in there, what they have. Thank you. Oh, I remember Larry last time too. I remember you had all those good questions. So I think we might have connected on LinkedIn. So good. Good. Well, hey team, Matt Drinkhahn is my name. And no, you don't have to adjust the dial. That is a giant red pimple I woke up with today on my nose. And literally, I haven't had a pimple in 10 years. And today was the day I decided to show up. So we're going to play all in today. And as we do, show of hands here. Who here identifies with the phrase high performer? High performer. Anybody connect with that? Number of us do. Okay, great. So whether you identify as a high performer or not, I'm going to challenge you to right now show up with your body language, with your intention, with the way that you are and you are sitting and you are being right now, to show up at your best. You're most attentive, you're most focused, you're most ready to be curious, to be engaged. Show me what that looks like. That might be 7% more up straight. That might be 5% more focused. Whatever it might be for you, let's show up with our intention today, team. So I love the chat box here. A lot of these fun. Thank you, Betty. I love Betty's over there. Ruth. Oh, if you look at the chat box, Ruth is over there dancing. Appreciate that. As we dive in today, I'm going to copy and paste something myself into the chat box. And these are just a little bit of expectation here, team. So just take a look at that. Those are some expectations, and I respectfully request that we play by these today. We play by these today. And what are they? Well, we play all in, give it your best shot, whatever that means to you. Play all in. Number 2, remove any distraction. That's phones, emails, husbands, wives, kids, whatever it might be, others. Number 3, confidential during this time and respect how others show up. And then number 4, permission to be your best is granted. Not that you need my permission for anything, but you have permission to show up as your best. So as we dive in and get started here today, I'm going to teach a model for you, what it means to have it all. And to have it all, it doesn't, whether you're a boy, girl, other, you're a teenager, or you're up in there in the 5, 6, 7, 8 or more decades of life, whether in the UK, USA, or somewhere in between or all around, whether you're laughing at my pimple in the nose joke or not, whether you have gray hair, great hair, blonde hair, no hair, a lot of ear hair, or none. None of that really matters right now. This applies to every one of you. Whether you're an eternal optimist or you are a stay in the moment realist, and hint, they are one and the same when you learn how to have it all. It doesn't matter who you are. You can have it all. There's two asterisks on that. Two asterisks. Number one asterisk is that if you believe it's impossible to have it all, then it likely is impossible for you to have it all. And that's on you. That's on you. And if you just shut down right now because you feel I'm talking directly to you and I'm challenging you, then I'd invite you to stay curious. Stay curious, the possibility that you might learn something, and there is a way to have it all. That's one asterisk. The second asterisk is that if you don't have it all right now, whatever that means to you, if you don't have it all right now, then it's not because it's not possible. It's because you don't know how or haven't learned how to have it all yet. And what we're going to do today is 3 exercises that will help you on your journey to having it all. To go ahead and dive right in, I'm going to give you an equation. Sometimes I'll ask you to take notes or just take a screenshot. And when I say a screenshot, I'm not going to share any slides today. I don't believe in slides. I believe in using the document camera. So let me show up the document camera here first. This is a simple recipe. Yeah, I handwrite everything. I come from corporate America with all kinds of jargon. So I stopped doing 50-page proposals a long time ago. I handwrite everything now. I invite you to write down the recipe, and we're going to walk through and explain why this recipe might be important. The recipe for all. Quantity plus quality plus frequency is a way to have it all. And again, there's an asterisk on all. There's an asterisk on all. And as we go to what all means, we're going to look at 3 aspects of it: past, present, and future. Past, present, and future. And I'm going to talk 100 miles an hour. And if you need me to slow down, then feel free to, hey, Matt, slow it down a little bit, or put the slow it down emoji. We've got about 16 minutes to go through these things. So we're going to go through them. Then we're going to get to some journaling and collaboration time in breakout rooms. Then we're going to wrap it up with Q&A, and I'll be done in about 45 minutes total. Okay, so all that's going to happen. We're going to go fast. And it's going to be like a fire hose, like the water is coming at you really hard fast. So just get ready. Here we go. So let's start with the past. Let's start with the past. I want to share with you a story. I want to share with you a story that happened for me back on Labor Day in the United States in 2015. To cut right to it, I was going down a zip line and it broke. And the things that you would think were like freak accidents, this is impossible, this will never happen to me. Going down a zip line, the son of a gun, it freaking broke, man. And I fell to the ground and landed smack right there on my butt, and it condensed my spine and turned me crooked, and I was really effed up for a while. And if anybody here has ever suffered through before or is right now chronic, like just excruciating pain, then my heart goes out to you, because I had never really had real physical pain. I mean, I've broken some limbs and whatnot. That wasn't anything like this. It knocked me out, and I saw stars like you see in the cartoons. That literally happens when you get knocked out. It was amazing. I got knocked out. I saw stars. I came to, and it was only like 5 seconds, like 7 seconds maybe. But I came to, and eventually they helped me get up. And I was like an unfolded lawn chair, just kind of trying to get back into place, and it was tough. And over the next 9 months, my health deteriorated to a place that I ended up trying everything I could, right? We tried every type of medical anything that we possibly could, from hypnosis to all kinds of acupuncture, PT, and chiropractor. I even went and tried psilocybin and tried to go on a journey of using some type of hallucinogenic therapy. We tried everything, man. We tried shots in the spine, cortisone shots, didn't work. So we ended up having to go under the knife and have a spinal surgery on June 14th, 2016. And right before we walked in, I had gone so far downhill, team, that last 5 weeks. I didn't leave the house, couldn't get upstairs. We have a 2-story home. I couldn't get upstairs. I do all the cooking in a home. I couldn't cook anymore. I run a full-time business, and I do a lot of it virtually. I had to turn off my webcam for the last 5 weeks. I'm the positive energy guy, coach business owners and executives. I had to turn the camera off. Ended up, I had Gina Gardner on the podcast too. We had that great discussion around this. And I ended up disabled as in a wheelchair, and it may not look it, but I'm 6'7", always identified as an athlete. So my identity is starting to change, and that's really painful. And then I had the conversation with the surgeon, and he says, Matt, you may never walk again after this. And is at that moment that this story comes together, that I want to share this with you, that I learned one critical component of having it all. And for me, it was that conversation with the surgeon. My wife and I sat there, Julie's her name. We sat there after that conversation, and during the conversation crying. And at the conclusion of the conversation, we came to it that if I'm not able to walk again, or to compete again in sports, I'm a scratch golfer. If I'm able to play golf anymore or run long distances, I'm not able to do that anymore. If I'm not able to do that anymore, then I'm okay with that. I'm willing to accept that. And that was the point that everything actually shifted. And I learned one key component to being able to have it all, and that is the concept of acceptance and or surrender. And that might be something to jot down, is acceptance or surrender. And I would invite you to consider, what is it that we've not accepted, or what is it that just keeps coming up over and over and over again in our lives? This is the question, and Gina and I talked about this in my show, and when I was on her show, this question has helped me so much in my life. It's the question, my friends, of, how might I learn to use this to my advantage? How might I learn to use this to my advantage? What's the gift I've been offered because of this? Yeah, I love Brian. You put in the chat box, Surrender Experiment. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Great book by Michael Singer. Untethered Soul is another great one too. All those books are excellent. Learning how to accept, learning how to surrender to the things out of our control. A client of mine's in Alcoholics Anonymous. They talk about the Serenity Prayer. I love the Serenity Prayer too. But this is what I learned over time. I'll go ahead and share this, team. This is the mantra that I've used now for years to be able to overcome the things that have afflicted me. And guess what? I'm 46, and I grew up in a very strong dad influenced military household. And I didn't learn how to cry or really express feelings for a long time. I don't know if anybody connects with that at all. Recovering perfectionist. Nothing was ever enough. And always focused on what I didn't get rather than what I did have. Right. And this little mantra right here helped. And I've written this in my journal about every time that something has shown up from my past, something that shows up that's holding me back. I learned to accept it and learn to love it. And this is how I invite you to take a screenshot or to jot this down, both of those things, to take a screenshot and jot it down, because your mind will retain it. You'll start to understand it. You learn it in a number of ways, using a number of senses. I'm going to read to it now. I welcome you to my table, Mr. Imperfection. Thank you for showing up today. I know you're here to teach me something important. From now on, every time you show up, you'll have diminishing power over me, and I'll view you as an ally. You're welcome here from now on. And this is the mantra in some way with these words. You even noticed that when I was writing it out, my perfectionism, I may be a Jedi now, because I thought, should I rewrite this entire thing? How many of you would have rewritten the entire thing when that happened? I was like, you know what? I think they're going to be okay if we're talking about overcoming perfectionism. If I leave that little thing right there. If some of you are triggered by like, what the freaking heck, man, I'm having a professional speaker come in and they have that on the screen, then hey, patience and grace, my friends. Patience and grace. So the idea of, if there's something in our past that holds us back, if there's something that tethers us and is heavy for us, then learning how to accept it and learn to love it. I'm not suggesting to compartmentalize, to repress. I'm suggesting to learn how the other side of that shadow, there's a bright side. There's something that we might be able to use to our advantage. I'm going to go off script for a moment. Jill, you had me almost in tears when you started today, because you talked about that person reconnecting with their father. back in 2005, Memorial Day weekend here in the US, I hadn't spoken to my father in nearly 6 months. Go figure, 28 years old, really, independent, kind of fierce, stubborn 28-year-old me, and my dad, who is like just the same me, 30 years older, both pretty stubborn. He's super successful when he does. He was in the military, very high-ranking officer for a number of years, and he had a lot of knowledge. I couldn't hear any of it though because I was stubborn. We hadn't talked for 6 months. My mom had to negotiate us getting together. We played together in a 3-day golf tournament Memorial Day weekend. That weekend, I had never cried in front of my father, and he had never cried in front of me, except for one time at the death of his father at the funeral. And we cried together that weekend, had a great weekend together. And then I left him that night. That Monday night, Memorial Day, I left him. And then I woke up the next morning and my mom called me and said, "Your dad just died." And I can't imagine how I might feel, and would I even be who I am today if I didn't have that. There's no chip on the shoulder. I can imagine there might have been. And if you have that chip right now of a lost someone or something, if you have the ability to repair that, someone has to go first. It has to be incredibly hard. And I get that. And I'm not saying accept it, like applaud them if they did something, accept that it cannot be changed. And now you have permission to move forward. Not from me, from yourself. That's part number one, is surrender or acceptance. Surrender or acceptance. Okay, so keep it on moving forward here, team. Moving forward. Thank you for that. I invite you to put an emoji in the chat box or put an emoji in your screen of your phone or of your video right there, right now. Whatever you're feeling, whatever's on your mind or your heart. It could be funny, it could be serious, it could be love, it could be anything. Feel free to put something in there, team. Feel free to put something in there. Yeah, you're right, Rosa. It was a timely visit. Timely visit. So let's go to the next big point here. Let's go to the next big point. Next big point I'm going to share with you is the present right now. And the next big point I'm going to share with you by using the art of drawing. And as I do this, I want you to know that I was not classically trained in any art school, so this may look very elementary to you. So I appreciate your patience with that. This right here, we'll just say this point, this is New York City, over here in the USA, right? And let me just move that face out of here. This right here, I don't know how to draw the UK, so I'm just going to say it looks something like that over here. And I know it doesn't look like that, and I appreciate your patience. Again, I didn't go to Juilliard. So let's say that this is London. If I were to take this journey right here from New York City to London, that's approximately 3,471 miles. And yeah, we're messed up over here. We still use miles, not meters, kilometers. I wish we did. We don't. So that's how far it is. And I was talking to Jill and Alan earlier, and they were telling me that there's this place, and I was making sure I said it right. It's called Worthing. Worthing, right? Worthing is approximately 60 miles away from London. All right. And if on the way from New York to London, if I'm only 1 degree off, just 1 degree off in that travel, I end up in a totally different place. And the challenge that we face, team, in being able to have it all is that so many people, they don't have a clear idea of where they're going. And I see it all the time, in coaching people and asking, like, where do you want to go? A lot of people say, I want to grow a company. I want to be successful. I want to repair a relationship. And they're not exactly clear on what that might mean to have it all. So I'll take just a moment here to unpack what it means to have it all. It's going to mean something different to everyone. Jill had a great post on LinkedIn this past week where one of the comments someone made was, if you try to get it all, then you're always searching for something and you're always looking for more and you can never have it. Yes, if you identify with that, like I did for so many years, anybody identify with that, you always want more. When you get it, you want a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. And I learned how to overcome that by learning to look for that magic now. Alan, I'll ask you to copy and paste in the chat box. There's a TED talk that I heard about when I read Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss back on Christmas of 2016, I believe it was. And as Alan puts that in the chat box, it's from a guy named BJ Miller. Does anybody listen to this TED talk, the BJ Miller talk? It's one of the best TED talks. I see Brian down there. This is the one that what really matters at end of life. This is a gentleman that's helped over 1,000 people transition to death gracefully. And they all say the same thing on what having it all might have meant to those people. And it wasn't, I wanted to work more hours and get more money. So when I heard that talk and put some things together and realized that all the having it all, really we had it all in front of us right now if we look deeply enough. I'm not saying that what I have, what you have, and what the person next to you in that box has is the same. I'm suggesting to you to do a look at what you call having it all, what that might mean to you. And here might be a way to describe it. Again, let's go to Matt Art. I hope you enjoyed this drawing brought to you today by no actual classical training. This is going to be a bullseye right here I'm drawing. Okay, this is going to be a bullseye. And if you look at the bullseye, I'd like to invite you to consider what having it all might mean. And having it all might mean that you are looking to, let's just say, like someone said to me this morning, I want to lose weight. All right, well, lose weight, that might be right here. That's on the actual target. It's on the target somewhere, right? Lose weight. You know, the next iteration of that could be, well, I want to lose 15 pounds. Okay, that might be the next level, right? The next level after this might be, I want to lose 15 pounds by end of the year. That's the next level. And then here's the place where I'm going to challenge everyone to think about it. And our journaling question, our group question will come here in a minute. Okay. It's going to be, I want to lose 15 pounds by the end of the year. By the end of the year. And here's why. And when you can do that, you'll be able to hit the bullseye and have it all. One way is to be super clear on what it is and why that's so important. And so many people are able to start here on the edge of the actual bullseye, and they're able to get closer to it. They're able to set SMART goals. I mean, we've all talked about and heard about SMART goals, most likely: specific, measurable, actual, realistic, time bound. We've all heard of that. And when you get right down to it, if we can get someone all the way to here and then get them to articulate why, that's the place that I find so many people get stuck. Okay, they get stuck, not able to articulate why. Now there might be some people in here who they can think through this exercise and tell us what they think it is. Okay, great. I'm very cerebral. I think I know what it is. And I'm not talking about just thinking your way through the exercise. I'm talking about both the thinking and feeling, your mind, your heart, your body, your soul, all of this together, being able to really understand why that's so important to you. And I find that challenge with executives all the time. So I know that people here are leaders of themselves, leaders of families, leaders of groups, leaders just being here, you're a leader. So I wonder what your all is and why that's so important to you. And to do that work, my friends, that is the second part to having it all. All right, let's go to the third thing here, and I'll start to wrap up this portion. You know, you've got one is surrender or acceptance, and a way to start on that path. Number two is being able to understand what and why. You know, what and why you're looking to do. And I've got some things if you're interested in, I will send to Jill, and Jill, you can send out to the community some exercises you can do at home. And I'm not going to give you a sales pitch on it. I'm just going to give you everything. Just take it all and use it. Follow up with me if you want some more. I'll just give it all to you, right? Number three thing is the future Three things the future. So I'm going to go over here to this wonderful contraption. It's called the iPad. And on the iPad, I would like to give you this. It is one of my favorite passages in a book. This is from The Art of Learning by Josh Waitzkin. He's the Bobby Fischer guy from that movie, Searching for Bobby Fischer, back from 1993. He's about my age now. And he said this that really caught my attention. I've been talking about this for years. That if a student of virtually any discipline could avoid ever repeating the same mistake twice, both technical and psychological, that he or she would skyrocket to the top of their field. So the aim is to minimize repetition as much as possible by having an eye for continuous psychological and technical themes of error. Okay, so many of us are aware of the things that trigger us, things that are challenging for us. We might be aware of what we want. We're just not sure how to practice to get there. Not sure how to practice to get there. I coached the Board of Education over here in the U.S., and I got together with a bunch of leaders last week on Wednesday, and we started to practice how to have feedback conversation. And what's amazing about this, these are all great leaders. They're great on stage, great one-on-one conversations with people. And in working with some of them in a group setting, practicing feedback, some of them didn't know how to do it. They didn't practice. I mean, they're great firefighters in the moment. They can solve any problem. You sit down to actually practice the skills and practiced. So I'd go back to this, my friends. The very first slide that we popped up here with that expert drawing is the recipe. The recipe. Quantity plus quality plus frequency equals all. And outside of when we were all kids and we probably practiced the piano or practiced our basketball or practiced our writing or practiced whatever it might have been, I don't find that a lot of adults actually do any practice anymore. All right, this is the third part. What's your practice regimen? How are you practicing and enhancing the skills? I'm getting some private messages in here. My ADD is trying to kick off, so I'm going to try to ignore those for the moment. But I would say this, that Jim Rohn said it: don't wish for less problems, wish for greater skills. Right, and those skills are developed by the quantity, the quality, and the frequency of our practice. So that's the third element of having it all. The first is acceptance or surrender to those things that are holding us back or the things that are heavy for us in the past. Learn how to use those to our advantage and see them as gifts. The light side to the dark. All right, part two is being able to get clear, crystal clear, not clear as mud, clear as crystal, on what matters most and why. Get clear on what you want. Like Jordan Spieth, professional golfer, a famous caddy, or famous golfer, who, by the way, just got destroyed by Europe in the Ryder Cup. I'm aware of that. There's some UK players here today. So yeah, they destroyed the US. Man, my nose is getting redder as I'm talking about this. And his caddy said something amazing a number of years ago. He said, aim small, miss small. How narrow and focused is your aim? All right, how close are you to the target? Why is that so important to you? That's number two. Then number three is practice. It's real simple. Practice, quantity, quality, frequency. Practice. Are you practicing? It's not practice makes perfect. It's practice makes progress. No such thing as perfect. You're looking for perfect, you might never have it all. Okay? So learning to look for progress instead of perfect in your practice. Those are the three things that are going to help us get to have it all. Okay. So we're going to pause for a second here, team. And I'm going to invite, I believe it's Louise over there. And Louise, by the way, I love you, Louise. You have an amazing attitude. She's got jokes. I like Louise already. She's got jokes. She's got a great sense of humor. She was flexing a little bit of that like 2 minutes before we jumped in. I'm going to ask Louise in the background to go ahead and start set up some breakout rooms. I'm going to put something up here on the screen. It's going to be a question. We're not going to go yet. Don't go yet. Nope. Turn it off, Louise. I'm sorry. Don't turn it off. Turn it off, please. Oh my God. I think I just screwed that up. By the way,
do it. I've done it. Oh,
I totally screwed that up. Don't go away, anyone. And if you just did, then take a
just
deep
let me
breath
see
and
if I
come
can
back.
option it. Sorry, I was too quick on the clicky button.
Let's all lovingly and empathetically, let's give an emoji to Louise, one that shows our love and our patience. Feel free to give her a reaction right now of how much we love Louise. Thank you. On the count of 3, 3, 2, 1.
You can actually all return to the main session.
Yeah, we're not ready for that just yet.
Sorry.
First, no problemo.
We're nearly there
No,
gonna...
if anyone's coming back, I'll just, again, yeah, we're not trying to go just yet. Oh, you got to close them out. Okay, cool. Uh, so uh, as a couple people are coming back in, I'll tread water and tell a quick story. I was giving a keynote speech to 157 people in a company to kick off 2 years ago their annual sales conference, and my internet went out in the beginning of the speech. And for like 2 minutes, I was the most stressed human being in the history of the universe. I was like just totally flipping out. And I ran to the other room, and my 3-year-old at the time, she had unplugged the internet from the wall. All the times she'd unplugged the internet. So I went and plugged it back in, came back, and then I realized, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen? I mean, they don't hire me again, or people have to wait for 2 minutes and just kind of look at each other. So no problemo. I could have set that up differently. So thank you, Louise. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put a question up here on the screen. I'm going to invite you to take a picture of it and write it down. I'm going to give you about, let's just say 60 seconds, 90 seconds to think about it. Then I'll draw out for us how we'll respond to the question. All right, so take a look at this. Take a look at this. Here's the question, team. Here's the question. Why is it important for me? You're talking to yourself here, my friends. You're talking to yourself. Why is it important for me to be here today thinking about having it all? What does all mean to me? I know, big risk here, putting 2 questions in this. I know. Why is it important for me to be here today thinking about having it all? What does all mean to me? Give you a moment to think about that. And as you do, I'll draw something up here on the screen. We're going to go to breakout rooms in a moment. And to make it crystal clear, not clear as mud, clear as crystal, let me draw for you how the breakout room might work today. We're going to do 2 steps. 2 steps. So step number 1, I think we're going to have 3 people in each room. So I'm just going to look at a couple of you out there. Let's see. I see John. John is right here. John's got a big smile on his face. He's also got a very attractive beard. And I always give people that have facial hair a little bit of grief because I'm 46 and I haven't shaved in literally a week and a half. So I wish I could have facial hair. And then I think I've got Larry up here. Larry, I don't have to draw it on the top of his head, but I'll have to draw a little bit of hair right here. So I got John, I got Larry up here, and then I've got Lisa over here. And Lisa, you don't have green hair, but I don't have a blonde pin. So I've got Lisa, Larry, and John. Let's just say they're in a group. They're in a group. And I'm going to ask John, go ahead and share his response. So step 1 when you're in the group is to share. And let's just say that John has got, let's give him up to 2 minutes to share. He's got 2 minutes to share. Whatever it is on his heart, on his mind that he'd like to do, he's got 2 minutes to share. And step 2, real simple. Step 2, his teammates are over here. And, let's just think he has that beard and that hair, and I'm not going to do that color again. But their role, as he is sharing, their role is real simple. It's to listen with heart. Listen with heart. You know how someone's listening with heart? They're like incredibly paying attention and they're really into whatever you're saying, and they're not thinking about what they're going to say. They're just listening with heart, and they're giving their very best they can to listen. And I would like for them to listen with heart and reflect back anything. Oh, there we go. Reflect back anything that they appreciate, anything they want to acknowledge, anything they want to appreciate or acknowledge. Hey, great job, John. Thank you for sharing that. John, I appreciate the way that you shared that. I appreciate you got the clarity there, whatever it is they want to reflect back and appreciate. And let's just say that you have a total of 1 minute to reflect back. So again, John's going to share here for 2 minutes. And then when he's done sharing, he gets 2 minutes. You guys got to keep track of the clock. You got 2 minutes. The other 2 players combined have 1 minute to reflect something back. Okay? Real simple. And then once you've done that, we simply rinse and repeat, and the next person goes. And we just switch to the next person. Okay? So it's a 3-minute cycle. And if there's 3 people in the group, it should take about 9 minutes. right? And as we do this, now I have never listened to John or Liz or Darren. I've never listened to you guys speak before, and you look like you have something to say. So you might be encouraged, or you might feel inspired to give a TED talk when it's your turn to talk for 2 minutes. So I would invite you. This is not a TED talk time, right? This is your chance to simply share in 2 minutes, concise, clear as you can in 2 minutes. Share with this group why it's so important for you to be here today, thinking about having it all and what having it all might mean for you. Your answer will not be perfect, and if you expect perfection, then you will fall way short of it, and that's okay. Right? It's not a TED talk. You got 2 minutes. Now, when we break for the room here in a second, when we do that, I'm going to ask that the person that goes first is the person who has the most letters in their name on their camera right there. Like some of you have CG Lisa Richardson. I can see that's like 10 or 12 letters or 15 letters, and then there's like Gail Craft Empowerment Master. Now that is probably a couple more letters. So Gail would go first in that group. Gail would go first. I'm trying to look for the longest name. And if it's Yawanda has got the longest name. So Yawanda's probably going to go first in hers. That's awesome. Good for her. And then Orly probably gets to go third in hers because she kept it simple, baby. She kept it simple. KISS, keep it super simple, right? So when you get to your group, longest name goes first. And then, in descending order, you're going to have like 9 or 10 minutes in the group. And then you'll come back to the main group and we'll do some shares. You're not required by law to share in front of everyone. We'll ask if you'd like to. If you feel so inspired, you can. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can play as all in as you want to, or you can keep it close to the chest. It's your chance, team. Your chance to really think out and work out why it's so important for you to be here today. All right. So having said that, we're going to take 9 minutes. We're going to go. Ready, set, now. Luis, we can push that button. Now we can push that button, Luis. There we go. Okay. Join your rooms. Have a good time, team. And we'll be back in about 9 or 10 minutes. Thank you.